me coming out, and I just have to live, and I wanna give. I'm completely positive. I think this time around I am gonna do it like you never knew it. Oh, I'll make it through. The time has come for me to break out of the shell. I have to shout that I am coming out.
Welcome to the show Never Too Late Ever, where we focus on making your chapter the very next best ever. I am your host, Lorraine Hoving from It's About Time, and I am glad you are joining us today. This day will change your life. Open your heart, your ears, and listen, and you will find a gem, a treasure that you can apply to your life today. And I am so excited for our guest because she was here last week, and it's a topic that I have never brought to you, and it's all about travel and adventure. And as you know, as I've gotten older, I've even gotten more adventuresome. I've always taken risks, but I love to be adventuresome and I love to travel. And during this COVID time, we've had to travel at home or travel to the next state, but we can still dream. And Brenda will help you dream today. So let me talk to you about Brenda, and then I'll introduce you to her, and then we'll get right on to it. Hi, Brenda. How are you today?
Good. Thank you for having me today.
So Brenda, and I love her bio, she has trekked the Himalayas, climbed the Great Wall of China, ridden camels in Egypt. Boy, I want to follow you around. She worked in a castle in Ireland and backpacked 5 continents in 5 weeks. And that's just for starters. Arisen from her own personal journey, she founded Global Gals, which she would have told you about last week, which inspires and empowers women or men from seasoned globetrotters to first-time adventurers, no matter what your age is, to successfully live, work, and some travel abroad. So far, Brenda has experienced 80 countries, 6 continents, and 3 cruises from around the whole world. But the Global Gal, she is not done yet. Brenda, you're not done yet.
Well, right now I'm a long layover, a long layover.
Yes, we're all having a layover. That's a good way to look at it. There are more small worlds to explore, more connections. I love that word, connections to be made, and many more women to inspire. And I would say in our travels, my husband and I, what has been beautiful, like you said before, were not necessarily the museums or the art, galleries we went to, but it was the connections that we met, that we made with people. Now that could be in Europe, or that could be in the next state, or that could be in your own hometown. But connections are what it's all about, especially when traveling. So welcome back. And you named this one, Never Too Late to Travel the World. So
right.
Tell us more about your global travel adventures. You told us last week that you did a cruise around the world in university, correct? Mm-hmm. Is that what started? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so tell us a little bit more about your global travel adventures.
Yeah, I feel like the one thing that I have had the blessings to do is to do really diverse types of travel. So some people like to do one type of travel, and that's completely fine. I personally like to experience all kinds of travel. So, I've done everything from budget backpacking on a dime in Europe, to being an expat, which means I've lived in 6 countries actually, to leading luxury African safaris. I've spoken on cruise ships, studied abroad in Australia. As a young person, I did a working holiday visa, working in a castle in Ireland. I've milked cows on an exchange in Switzerland. So I guess what I want to reiterate here is that there's so many cool kinds of travel out there that sometimes sometimes we don't always think about or know. And what, for example, genealogy travel is my new favorite type of travel, going to see where your ancestors are from. In fact, my husband and I did a trip just like that. I'm a McGuire, so I married into an Irish family. But what was fun about it was we went to Ireland, Northern Ireland. We hired a guide to take us around all the Northern Ireland where the McGuire clan was. So that was fun to learn about that. But what was very fascinating is because we were doing ancestry research, and there's actually travel companies out there that will work with you to, not only do your ancestry, but help you plan your trip to see your ancestral. But what was fascinating was through that, we learned unbelievably that my husband's direct descendants were from Ireland, and they had built Adair Manor, which is a 5-star hotel. And so I reached out to them, and I couldn't afford to stay there in a normal situation. I said, hey, do we get the family rate? And I sent the genealogy family tree, and they gave me a discount.
Cool. Yeah. So there's different types of travel, right? And so on your website, do you talk about different types of travel? Because when we think of traveling, we just think, we book a hotel and we go there. But you're talking about different themes almost of travel.
Yes. And so one way to travel, especially if you're going to travel solo and meet people, is to do themed travel. So whatever your passion is, you like wine tasting, go on a wine tasting, you like cooking or cuisine, or, I'm a scrapbooker, and believe it or not, I don't know if they do them anymore. They used to do scrapbooking cruises, right? So there's so many kinds. I mean, you can't even imagine. And all you'd have to do is Google, and that gives you an excuse to travel somewhere in the world, whatever your passion is. I don't care if it's rock hunting. I don't even care what it is. I guarantee there's a world group or club or an organization, and you can connect with the members from around the world. Right there, you have a shared interest and passion, and then you could go meet with them, or maybe in the future they'll have an event or a conference. So I think that's a great way. Also, there's so many types on my website. You can globalgals.com. You can download. It's called 25 life-changing ways to live and work around the world. And I shared some of the ones that I've done. There's 50, 100 different ways. But again, there's so many genealogy travel. There's something called gap years where you go travel for a period of time. Some people call them granny or gray gaps. You can buy what's called an RTW, an around the world ticket, and travel. You can house sit for free. I have people I know that's how they get free accommodation around the world. One went to Norway. And there's actual websites you can sign up and you house sit for people. Mainly you're pet sitting because they're gone for 2 weeks, a month, and they want you to look after their pets, and you move right into their home. You're getting the cultural experience, and you get free accommodation. And there's
incredible.
There's so many types. Right now, a big one opening up is digital nomad or laptop lifestyle. So, for example, my husband, like many people, are working from home. It's like, I'm like, honey, if you're going to work from home in Des Moines, Iowa, can't we just take your laptop and move it over to Costa Rica for a couple months?
Right.
So we're not bound anymore. We're not always working in the offices anymore. So
right. It's a different kind of world, and it opens us up. Although COVID has shut us down a little bit, but the digital part has opened us up. And when the world opens again, it'll be amazing. So, what advice would you give our listeners who dream of traveling the world? What would be your first bit of advice? And here's another question, what was your favorite, after you answer that one, the advice for the traveler, then I'd like to hear some of your favorites, because if you've been to 83 countries?
85 now. Yeah.
85. Oh my gosh. I stopped counting at 80, Brenda. No. But yeah, tell us, first of all, what advice you'd give to somebody that would dream, this would be their first time maybe dreaming about traveling abroad. And like you said last week, it's you can start dreaming. Even though we're in COVID, we can dream and plan now. So what would your suggestion be?
Right. And so I honestly, your podcast show title is what I usually say. It's never too late. So you've actually you're making it easy for me. It's never too late to achieve that travel dream or goal. I can tell you guys, I've worked with very young people and I've been on a cruise with somebody he was 96 years old celebrating his birthday on the cruise ship. So that's what's beautiful about travel. There's all kinds of travel. There's different types of travel, and you can go to the same place and literally, have different experiences at different chapters of your life. But I would say, to go back to your advice about people who dream of, just do it. My dad used to call me the just do it girl, which is kind of like the Nike saying, but it's really 3 simple words: just do it. There's a guy named Matt Kepik, and he wrote a book called How to Travel the World on $50 a Day. And yes, you can, and I have done it. But anyway, he says, home is our safe zone. We know it, we understand it, we may not always like it, but we get it. In the end, held back by their own fears, most people stay home, dreaming of that one perfect day. Well, that day will that day will finally travel. But that day never comes. It will never be perfect.
Right.
And the one thing I've learned about travel, the stars never align. Sometimes I have more money than I have time, and money, you go back and forth, and you're always looking for an excuse. I will tell you, I think COVID is really made us look at things differently. And I hear people, oh, I wish I should have done it. I should have taken that dream trip. Oh my gosh, now. But I can tell you, the good news is you'll get to do that. I can't tell you when you'll get to do that, but you will get to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And you just have to be patient. But the good news is you can plan it right now. You can plan your trip, your journey. And how do you do that? There's you can just start doing research and having fun, and you don't have to book anything and feel the pressure of it. But the good news about planning it, we have a program called Prepare and Plan Like a Pro. So when you know when you're going to come up against a good deal because you've already done the research. You already know, right? And you can learn about the cultures. You can learn some new language phrases. You can get a cookbook and a recipe and try a few recipes of your dream destination. But right now, in fact, the research shows you actually sometimes are most happiest when your travel experience before you leave. Believe it or not.
It's true. It's almost like before Christmas, you are so anticipating Christmas, and every once in a while, I've so anticipated opening the presents, and then when it comes, it's not quite what I had anticipated, because I get so excited in the planning and the looking forward to it. So I think there is a joy that you can actually sustain from your planning into your trip. But the joy of planning, to me, is incredible, because I think it opens the door to hope, to anticipation, to a different day, and all of that. So you said, is it on your site you have Plan and something like a Pro?
Yeah, Prepare and Plan Like a Pro. And we also have a program, Get Started Traveling the World, and also Achieve Your Travel Dreams in 5 Easy Steps. So we help people. Basically what I do is I take all those years of experience of learning it the hard way, and I help people to save time, money, and stress, and to avoid the mistakes I made. That's what I do. That's how I help people. I mean, I know there's a lot of things out there, but and I just encourage you just to do, have fun learning about different travel. But if you want more of a step-by-step guided, or you're looking for a travel mentor, that's where I come in and can help.
I love that. I love that, because you help people avoid spending money that they don't need to, and then avoid some of the stress because you have experienced it. So I think that's wonderful. That's a wonderful mission in life. Now, what are your favorite? So you've been to 83 countries. 85? What are some of your favorites, and why?
Well, I don't have a list like number 1, number 2, number 3. I will tell you what I do is I kind of group them to categories. And what I mean by that is, if you like mountains, Switzerland, it just blows me away. To me, I still think that's one of the prettiest, if not the prettiest country on earth. Islands, Greece, and the Maldives. The Maldives are by Sri Lanka, little islands. Those are stunning. Lake vacation, Minnesota. I had one of my best vacations this summer in Minnesota. Just absolutely amazing. Loved being on the lake. And Lake Tahoe, I did that last year. Cultural, if you're into cultural, Japan, where I spent 2 years learning about the Japanese culture, which is fascinating. Italy, the culture, the history culture there is interesting. If you're looking for a place for great diversity, I would say Australia. I spent 3 years there and just went all over the place. And what I like about Australia is it's the size of the United States, and there's so much diversity, just like the U.S. It's no different. They have the outback, the deserts, the Great Barrier Reef. You got the cities, you got the mountains. But again, with Australia, you're going to need some time. If time is an issue, I would say my new absolute favorite destination is New Zealand. And I took my mentor. She just retired, and I took her on her dream cruise last year, and it went to different places in New Zealand. And I will tell you, I was just blown away because New Zealand, it's going to pack a lot of punch if you have a short amount of time, because there's, where